Clark Lea will open the floor for questions. Please utilize the raise your hand feature and I will call on you. We'll start with Chris Lee.
Hey, Clark, a question about your quarterback depth chart, two parts. First of all, what got A.J. Swan the number 2? And second of all, is that ironclad, as in, let's say that Mike gets hurt late in the game, you got 2 minutes left, you're down a field goal, you got 80 yards to go. That would seem to be a tough spot to throw a freshman in. Is that an absolute in a case like that?
That's a very specific scenario. I think, I think it's a razor thin margin between all three. Honestly, I felt like all three had good camps, and Joey and I met, and he sat down and met with the quarterbacks. But for us right now, this is how the depth chart sits, which means Mike is the first and AJ's the second. We have confidence in Ken that he's played in a lot of games and he can help us win. And certainly in the moment, we would make the decision we felt like best suited our team's chances to get the outcome we want. But we also want to honor the fact that we feel like AJ has earned the opportunity to be second on the depth chart. And for all three of those guys, I mean, this is how we're going into week one. I mean, we're gonna keep allowing AJ to grow, Ken to grow, Mike to compete, and we expect them all to get better as the season goes. So again, I thought all three performed well in the spring. I thought all three showed the ability to move the ball with the offense. This is just how things settled coming out of camp.
Robbie.
Hey, Clark. Is Braden Babst or any of the guys who are injured, any of them looking like you could get them back for the Hawaii game? And are there any new guys who could miss out?
Well, Braden's going to be kind of week to week. We're kind of waiting to see. He's obviously here with us. We're waiting to see how his injury responds, but we're not anticipating. I would say he's doubtful right now for Hawaii. The other longer term guys are the same. I think Devin Lee is showing progress, and we feel like we'll be ready in short order, but probably not this weekend. And then just hasn't had the chance to test it in practice, and he won't be able to play until he can do that. Davian won't be with us this weekend, but is still working through his rehab, and we expect him back here early in the season. Not to go too far down the list, but to address Braden specifically, doubtful for this weekend, week to week with his injury, and we'll be excited to get him back when we can get him back.
Aria.
Yeah. So how are you, speaking of Braden Babst, the defensive line, there's been a lot of injuries there. How are you feeling about kind of the depth situation on the defensive line?
Well, as far as depth goes, we'll feel really good once we get those guys back from injury. I think we have a group now that's thin, but that's been tested. It's a group of guys that we have a lot of confidence in, and I think they've had a good camp. I feel like we also have some young players that aren't on that depth that if we needed them, that they've proven that they can play snaps. And obviously it's always the balance between when you use 4 games and how you save red shirts. But our goal right now would be to hang on to some of those as we can, but also to understand here early in the season, we do have a little bit of a depth issue with the injuries, and we need to be able to plug gaps where we see fit. So I'm excited for that group. I think they've, again, had a good camp. When you look at Nate and obviously Elijah and Christian, Malik, those guys have played a lot of football for us. Miles Cecil has had a career before coming here, so he's seasoned. And then Kiva Wesley's a guy that we feel like has a lot of high end potential and athleticism and twitch that has not yet played on the D line for us, but we're going to be excited to get him out there and let him mix it up some.
Chris Harris.
Hey, Coach. So we've seen a little video from your first practice. I'm just curious. On Monday, the day after you guys get there, what was it like, tempo-wise, energy-wise, all that stuff as you get acclimated?
Yeah, it is an adjustment, and I think for all of us that woke up at 1 a.m, raring to go yesterday morning, you realize your body needs some time to acclimate. I want to just compliment Vanderbilt, for and Candace Lee, her leadership for getting us here. I really feel like I feel grateful to be here because, we want to be at our best come kickoff on Saturday night. And it does take time to adjust. As far as the energy goes, we had a shorter day of work intentionally just because we knew the trip would take a physical toll and obviously a mental toll as well. But it was spirited, and I think the guys were excited to be out here. I think the change in scenery is a boost. I think it's something that they are excited about, and we had a good day of work. Today will be important. Today will be a typical Tuesday for us, where we'll be in full pads and we'll be competitive. And so, it'll be here now as we're getting acclimated, important that we get connected to our typical routines.
Chris Lee.
Hey, Clark, I think you had Jalen is the nickel a lot of camp. You had DeRicky starting as a safety. I think you've moved DeRicky to the anchor spot and Jalen Mahoney back to safety. Just talk about what went into those decisions and how those guys fit, and also what happens to CJ Taylor, who I know was productive a lot of camp.
Yeah, those three guys that you're mentioning, Chris, and obviously you've seen us a bunch. Those are three of our what we feel like our playmakers on defense. We want to have them on the field. We want to have them on the field at the same time. We want to have some flexibility in how we move them around. So, they have the ability to play each anchor or nickel and safety, and we'll use them that way. You put a depth chart out, and sometimes it doesn't perfectly reflect how the defense or the offense will look down in, down out. I'm excited to see those guys kind of mix around and do some different stuff. We don't want to, there's always a negative return to trying to do too much. So I think we've slotted them out where we feel like, that they're maybe most confident, but also, through the practice and preparation and training camp, you're going to be able to see those guys on the field at the same time just because they have positional flexibility.
Robbie.
Clark, now that you've had more time to look at Hawaii, with all that roster turnover and the coaching staff turnover, what are you expecting in terms of the type of team, stylistically that you're going to play?
Well, they're going to be tough, and they're going to be. We're expecting a fight. This is a proud program. They've been to bowl games 5 of the last 6 years. They won 10 games in 2019. They beat 2 Power 5 teams that season. This is a well known to be a challenging place to play. I think the unique nature of the environment that we're in now is going to make it especially challenging. Obviously, their head coach is a Hawaii legend and a guy that there's a lot of energy around on the island, and in support of his the early build in his program. And so again, you got a prideful group that's got an opportunity to play against an SC team here to open the season at home. They're gonna be up for the fight, and we're gonna have to really be. I said this before, but beating the trip's important, like staying focused and winning in our preparation's important. This week, we have a number of activities that we're doing to try to connect our team to this culture and environment to make sure they get something out of the experience beyond just playing a football game. And, we're gonna have to be really good at creating boundaries for ourselves where we're laser focused when it comes time to prepare for Hawaii, but also have the chance to, let our hair down, even though I don't have that opportunity any longer. But in the end, by the time we get to Saturday, it's about, self-mastery and our ability to find our highest level, and then focusing our energy on defeating the opponent. And there are a lot of steps for us to get to Saturday and feel like we're going to be at our best. But Hawaii's tough. They're prideful. They've got energy around this new coaching staff. We expect them to come out swinging, and we're going to have to not just answer that, but we're going to have to step into the arena ready to be at our best from the very start. And for us as a young team that's still building out our identity, that's going to be a challenge, but I'm excited for it, and I think our team is excited for it. And I know they're ready to play against another opponent. I'm sure Hawaii feels the same way. So it'll be a fun way to start the season.
Gentry.
Yeah, hey Clark. I'm just curious what's the confidence level like for you entering this season versus the opener last season, and how much more confident and comfortable are you in what you're going to get from your guys?
Well, I think I know way more about the program. Obviously, I learned a lot in the opener last season, and a lot that hadn't necessarily revealed itself until we were in that kind of arena of a competition. And I kind of saw how our team was responding to adversity. And I think we're beyond that. I think we are way more connected, both to identity and into a sense of confidence and preparation. This camp has been far different with respect to feeling like you kind of dragging the team through camp rather than every day waking up and feeling like the team is excited to go out and compete. I think we've made a lot of strides that way. But it's I think that anytime you're talking about a team that's engaged in a reconstruction where we're going to be playing young players and guys that haven't all had necessarily roles that they're going to have on Saturday, and you're doing it in a challenging environment where again it's the complexity of handling this trip the right way and be in the right state of mind to compete for 4 or 5 hours on Saturday. I mean, I think that I'm excited, but I think we're gonna find out a lot about this team on Saturday, and that doesn't mean Saturday. There's all this build up to game one, and and rightfully so, right? We wait a long time to get back to college football season, but from my seat, I got to see this as the opening act, and a place from which that we have to, no matter the result, evolve. And I'm prepared to do that, but I'm certainly excited to be on the field with this team and feel like the things that'll carry us through adversity, the things that'll allow us to find consistency in our performance are way more entrenched into our DNA now. Having access to that language, having access to that kind of mental capacity to handle the challenges of competition is one thing. Doing it in the moment where you need it is another. And so I'm going to be excited to be out there guiding and supporting this group, and I know our coaching staff will too. And ultimately, we want to leave here with a great result and have a chance to learn from our mistakes, but also celebrate a win.
We have time for one more question. Aria, bring us home.
Yeah, so the offensive line is pretty young this year with a lot of obviously just underclassmen, younger players. What are some of the challenges of having kind of a younger group there? And do you think that this gives an opportunity for them to grow from where they were last
year? This is, I think going into spring, this was a group that we had a lot of, questions around. A young, unproven group, like you said. We thought we had some meaningful snaps from a number of them last season. We were impressed with kind of the strides they made during the fall, but I think through winter and spring, we realized that, this is young core guys that we think has a chance to be pretty good. It doesn't mean, here or in the early goings, they're gonna, they're going to be at their highest level at the offset. But what we've seen through winter, spring, and summer and fall camp is a group that's come together, that's gelled, that's prepared at a high level, that's playing together, that has more chemistry, that has more edge and toughness. And, all those things are great starting points. They don't guarantee the performance, we have to go into Saturday and take our preparation to the field. But I'm excited for them. And I think just for when you look at the direction of the program, the future of the program, when you have a young core of offensive linemen that you're growing in your system, it gets you excited about what's possible for the future on offense, because, as it all starts up front. So we're excited for them. There are going to be a number of guys that get to play. This will be a group that we could see getting more than 5 certainly on the field on Saturday night. And when you have the addition of Jacob and some veteran experience that way, and then also some younger players like Bradley Ashmore that have played a lot of football, you're looking to those guys to kind of set a tone and to be anchors for us. But we're excited about those young guys too, and we think they have a chance to have a great season.
Last one, Chris Lee.
Hey, Clark, thanks for taking one more
course.
and for doing this early.
Ah.
How many players are you allowed to dress? How many do you think you'll play? And how many first-year freshmen do you think you'll play Saturday, including special teams?
We will dress, the roster. I mean, we're not, this is a trip where we're not looking to I want everyone to have the experience similar to a bowl game that way, where you're wanting guys to entrench. But, for me, as far as first year players that are going to be on the field for us, I mean, there are a number, if you look at the depth chart there, that are going to be involved on defense. We're not going to play 11 players. There's going to be, upwards of probably, 20 that touch the field. Certainly we expect a few true freshmen to be a part of that. When you talk about special teams, there are guys that are going to be in starting roles in that capacity too. And so, we've made the decision here that part of at this stage of our build as a program, part of the nature of this team is going to be, we're young. But I think what we've seen in fall camp from the first recruiting class that we brought in, there are a lot of bright spots there. We feel like there's opportunities for those guys to impact winning, and we're not going to hesitate to use them to field the best team we can. That said, we also plan on fully taking advantage of, the 4-game redshirt, and so there will be certain guys that will that will play the entirety of the season. There'll be some that will play here early on that maybe towards the end we make the decision to redshirt, and then we'll hang on to some of them, and then make sure they get their 4 games on the back half of the season. All just a matter of how our depth holds up and where we feel like our needs are. But beyond just the depth, we feel like we have guys that are ready to help us win, and so we're not going to hold back from having them play.